Welcome to Never Shut Up. It's your boy, Marcellus, Wiley. You know the color, the villains in black. Where that from? Love for you guys, man. We out here killing the game and enjoying the process, man. Much love for you guys. Here's that heartbeat for you. You know, Brinks Reach, and we getting it in. Wiley's World YouTube right now, where it's time to reset our Friday swag away. So what we giving away this week, Marcellus? Oh, man, you choose it, damn it. Everybody chooses the book, but not everybody in the absolute sense, just in the general sense. So you can get this book right here. You can get these playing cards, or you can get the jersey for this week's Friday swag away. Open that thing up, homie. Let them know what you fooling with. Right here, that's me right there. But that's also the same options you got and a little more if you guess when we go over 100K, which is, I would guess, I said Monday at 2:27, next Monday, right? Didn't I say next Monday? No, I said today. It ain't happening today unless I do a video with Mr. Beast or I go streaking. I'm going streaking to go to KFC. If I do that, maybe we get over 100K today. If not, it's going to be next Monday, 2:27. I said that on record, right? All right, you know how we start off every show with what's up with that dude. Well, I'll tell you what's up with that dude. I had a cultural contrast yesterday. I got to give it to you. Had a real chill weekend, just a couple dinners and went to an event, told y'all about that, blah, blah, blah. But the cultural contrast was the best part about my weekend. So my daughter is getting her hair braided like every month or so. Little 4-year-old getting her hair braided, sitting there like Snoop in the G-Thang video, just getting it hooked up, right? But she getting her hair braided, and I'm looking like, damn, that's like my sister when I was growing up, getting her hair braided on the porch. Sit still. You know what I'm saying? That's how we grew up, getting it done. And then I'm looking at her as a whole different element now, a whole different environment. The braider comes with, like, it looked like staff almost, like bringing all this stuff. I'm like, golly, just to get her hair braided, love the process, love the braider. That said, while she's getting her hair braided, we out here playing pickleball, and it just felt like this whole different culture clash, like the contrast of cultures. I'm like, man, I'm in the backyard playing pickleball, looking at my little daughter get her hair braided like little Snoop, and I'm like, damn, I remember that from when I was 8 years old, and it was a whole different animal. So just one of those appreciation situations. Y'all got those as well? Always good to reflect on it. But let's get into this show right now because Jay Bilas, he out there, bop, 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 calling out people for racial overtones and ran Paul's NIL comments. Did you guys catch those? Well, Jay Bilas summed them up and said it's a pretty clear dog whistle. We know what that means. Let's get into it. So they had the U.S. Senate hearings on the looming merger between PGA, DP World Tour, and Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund. We all know that. And Senator Rand Paul supposed to be talking about that. But he just swerved off the road a little bit, off topic, and he wanted to address the college athletes that are profiting off the NIL. So he said, many of us love watching amateur athletes that weren't paid. Now, everybody that plays basketball in college is going to be driving a Bentley or a Rolls Royce. I mean, we're going to be seeing rap stars instead of basketball stars. I mean, this is crazy. Uh-oh. You already know where that went. Soon he in the bushes. He is in the terrain right now. So Paul comparing basketball players to rappers, that got everybody's attention, and it sounded like it was racially charged. Let's be real. So Jay Bilas, one of ESPN's foremost college basketball voices, chimed in on this. He was talking to Dan Le Batard. He said, to be kind, it was racial undertones. It was overtones. God dang. I love when people do that because you remember you used to be like, man, you understand me? And then cats used to hit you, man, do you overstand? You'd be like, what? You been watching Do the Right Thing or something? But I love that he went there. And it was a pretty clear dog whistle. That's what he said. So I didn't care for it. I'm surprised he hasn't been called out on it more to date. Just like Tommy Tuberville with the ridiculous things he said recently, which were basically are white nationalists racist, right? And at first he was like, nah. And then he got pressed enough and he finally admitted, yes. Okay, that's what that was about. So Bilas was unsure why Paul hasn't been pressed about the racially charged comments and said, who cares what the players drive? Why do you care what the players drive? And all the people who are talking about they don't like money in college sports. They didn't complain over the last 45 and 50 years when revenues have gone through the roof and coaches' salaries have gone through the roof. Strikes me as crazy that so many free market libertarians, they're saying, oh, but this one segment, no free market for you. Everybody else, we want the free market, but we don't want it for you. Interesting. So it's almost immoral. It's so ridiculous that it gets to being immoral that we want to restrict college athletes only and say, well, they get a scholarship, but look at all the non-athletes that get scholarships and they can make whatever money they want. Facts. All right, so then Mike Ryan, who's on Le Batard's show, said, yeah, majority of the college athletes that are going to benefit from the NIL are minorities. It kind of feels like know your place. We want to keep the power dynamic as is. All right, let's talk about this because we're basically asking, are Rand Paul's NIL comments racist? All right, let me say this. It's interesting. The one element that really hit home for me was the fact that non-athletes get scholarships and are able to benefit tremendously off of it. I went to Columbia, as you guys know. Who else went to Columbia? Lauryn Hill, who was the homie. I was a junior. She was a freshman. We met day one when she got on campus, and we talked throughout all the time she was there. Let me tell you what she had in terms of journey versus me. All right, I'm there. I got to play all 4 years, right? This is even before the rule of you got to be over 19. This is before you got to play 3 years. It's just you got to play, right? So I got to play at Columbia all that time. Meanwhile, Lauryn Hill could come in, go to class, disappear for forever, go film Sister Act, come back, do a Fuji album, go do Sister Act 2, come back, do another Fuji album, blow up, and never go back to school. And then probably get an honorary degree because you're so damn famous. And I remember talking to her like, dog, you could just tap out, go do what you're destined to do, your profession, while still being in college and get paid for it and no rule violation. Why me? Why can't I? Now, I don't know if I was good enough to just leave to the NFL, but the point is I wasn't allowed to leave for the NFL. So that part right there obviously hits home. And then it's another part of this that's interesting because when you talk about NIL, and now all it's trying to do is keep pace or catch up to what everyone else is doing around the big business of college sports, especially football and basketball. So who gets paid? The institutions, right? They get paid through all of the broadcasting rights. They get paid, obviously, in scheduling as well. Look, when Florida State wants to play Columbia, then guess what? Columbia gonna get paid because, right, we ain't putting our guys through that unless there's a little bit of that scratch that comes along with it. So the institutions get paid, right? And then we also know how it affects enrollment, how it affects the esteem of the university. So therefore, they get more people trying to come to their institution. It just helps everything, including the reputation. All right, so the institution get paid. The coaches really get paid. Coaches in college, the creme de la creme, surpass the NFL coaches. They getting paid. Nick Saban, them guys, paid. All right, so coaches getting paid, institution get paid. Can the players get paid? No. Okay, can they get a little something? Here's their stipend. Shut up. They got a scholarship, it's free. And I love when they throw the scholarship argument. I was a Nike client. Now, I wasn't LeBron, I wasn't Jordan, I'm not Paul George. I didn't get paid by Nike. Bruce Smith did. I didn't get paid by Nike. But I was a Nike ambassador, Nike client. You know what that meant? I could get whatever I wanted for free from Nike. Because they ain't care. They're like, dog, we giving it to them wholesale. What's before wholesale? Like no sale. Not retail, not wholesale, just like, yeah, whatever. Here. And I could just open up the catalog, order whatever, right? And then I could go to the Nike store, get whatever. For real. I could in my heyday. Yeah. And that's just me. You imagine that meant nothing to Nike except, ooh, he's going to be an ambassador and broadcast our message. So now you're looking at these players and they're like, dog, don't just give me what y'all can give me that costs nothing to you. Give me a little of the skin in the game. You're getting the institution. You're getting it, coaches. Why can't we get it? And let me remind you, people are really here to see what we do in product, in our labor, in us playing the game. So it's a pretty obvious answer to me that the players should benefit off it. But it's also pretty obvious that Rand Paul, he doesn't like seeing players get paid, which became a little too synonymous with black players getting paid in his mind, where he went wrong. So tell me, You agree with Jay Bilas that Paul should be pressed more on these comments? Because right now on Never Shut Up, sounds like we pressing them as well. Coming up next on Never Shut Up, Jim Trotter of The Athletic now. Y'all know him. Used to be at NFL Network, used to be at Sports Illustrated, used to be at ESPN. He talks about leaving NFL Network and media and the uncertain future of sports journalism. Let's talk through that next on Never Shut Up. Brink TV, Reach TV. Bang, 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 bang. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy, Marcellus, Wiley. Oh, man, I was bumping some YG last night, sitting there in the hot tub all sore from playing all that damn pickleball. I lost like 3 pounds, though. It works. And I was sitting, I'm the homie in the club. I'm the homie that be slanging drugs. And I was like, I'm the homie in the backstreet, on the backstreet. Like a track meet. I can't even rhyme it. And worse, I can't play it around my kids. I've learned this, that when you have clean versions, they ain't really clean. One, I don't know what Apple Music is doing with their algorithm and their AI, but they don't catch every curse word, one. And they don't define everything as a curse word, which should be. And then the other part is the context. Like we had one, it was like all clean version, right? And I was going to play it before everybody came over because my kids are out there too, right? And it was like, yeah, girl, bend over, get in the Range Rover. And I was like, that's clean, but I don't know if all my daughters need to know that, right? Saying so it ain't really clean. So I had to get that off my chest. All right, now, let's get into the story right now because Jim Trotter had a lot to get off his chest as well. Y'all catch that transition? It's your boy. All right, so he talks about the uncertain future of sports journalism and leaving the NFL Network and media. So we know who he is. And this past spring, his contract wasn't renewed by NFL Network. And Trotter gained a lot of attention, national attention, for questioning Roger Goodell, the Godfather, about the league's lack of minority hiring both on the field and at NFL media. That was the and that a lot of people didn't catch wind of. So Trotter has said that he believes Goodell played a role in his contract not being renewed. Quote, look, I was focused on things that I felt were important. I was focused on things that the NFL said were important to it. And somewhere along the line, along the way, there was a disconnect. The only thing I know is that in November, they said they expected to bring me back. There was no reason to think I wouldn't be brought back. It was either the last week in February, the first week in March. I was told that wasn't necessarily the case anymore. Only they can speak to why they took the actions that they did. All right, so we caught that when that happened in real time. Now, we didn't know that they were going to bring him back or not. We just heard like, whoa, Jim Trotter's not coming back? Wow, that's interesting, especially when you know that he talks a lot in alignment of what is going on with the hiring process with minorities. And then they're going to let a minority go who is esteemed. Like, it's not like he's a bad reporter. People don't like him, etc. But hey, let's talk a little more about it. So he wrote a column recently about the diversity in the XFL, if you guys are watching, as opposed to the NFL. We know we watching that. An example of something he couldn't have done at his previous job. He said, I would probably guess that every story and situation is unique, but I would say there's a strong likelihood I could not have written it in that way. If the NFL holds itself up to be about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we're not seeing that on the field, and yet we are seeing it in the XFL, to me, that's news. And the fact that coaches feel like they have to leave the NFL to get these type of opportunities also is reflective of a problem in the NFL. For me, it's about shining a light where I see an issue. Pure journalist right here, huh? Sound like a purist, right? He just like, I'm going to the story. I don't give a damn of the consequences or what's the resistance. All right, so his expectations when he joined NFL media. This is pretty interesting, y'all. We're gonna fly through this. Before leaving the ESPN, I told them, they knew. When I interviewed for the job, I said to them, let's not waste each other's time. If our visions don't align, that's okay. You go your way, I'll go mine. Damn, he flowing up in there. He Pac over there rhyming. I told them there were 3 things I wanted to focus on. Number 1 was social activism or player activism. Number 2, I wanted to humanize the players. Number 3, I wanted to focus on issues and trends within the league. I told them, if that's something you're interested in, great, we can proceed. If not, there's no need for us to waste each other's time. They told me those were things they were interested in. Now, here's the pushback on that, even though all of that sounds amazing. They're running a network. NFL Network is a little different in terms of the entertainment scope. It's supposed to lean a little heavier on the exposure and educational side, right? Like you're exposing us to training camp. You're exposing us to behind the scenes. You have all the access of the NFL, right? Because you are the NFL. And at the same time, we're supposed to learn from that. Not necessarily see debate shows and stuff like that on the NFL Network, right? But they still do lean into entertainment. So his 3 demands sounded like they were a little even more heavy towards education than maybe even the NFL Network was raising their hand for. I don't know. Here's a question. If you could have a conversation with Goodell about improving the number of minority coaches, what kind of questions would you ask? As far as minority coaches, look, the league office has done pretty much all it can as it relates to trying to level the playing field. That's interesting. The problem here is ownership. Till owners decide that they want black faces to be the face of their franchises, there's not much else the league office can do. Man, I swear I've said that. I swear I've thought that in the terms of like, yo, the NFL is really on a try mission to get some diversity on the sidelines. And I'm not talking about the players who ain't playing. And I was like, dog, people don't get that. But look, I also talked to players. I was a player rep. And players will go on air and complain about some of the resources we didn't have. And I literally was like, here's the hotline. Here's the number. Here's the email to exactly what you said we don't have, but you haven't taken the time to figure that out. So it's just interesting. Sometimes there's a huge divide between what's really happening and what is really being said. And I don't like when that gets out. So that was interesting by him. Here's another one. The NFL offering teams compensatory draft picks if they lose a minority staff member to a head coach or general manager job. Is that a good idea? I think it's shameful that you have to incentivize the hiring of minority coaches. If you were to do blind resumes with minority coaches and non-minority coaches and ask people who are the most qualified in certain situations, think you would find they would choose the resumes of a minority coach. But unfortunately, jobs aren't going to these individuals. Woo, I love that. It is shameful that you got to be like, I give you a popsicle if you hire you a black coach. Like, oh, it's just like, look, I don't have anything in common with these coaches that are trying to go out there except the same skin color, right? The same ethnicity, background, whatever. But I don't have anything in common with them. But I would say this, it's kind of sad, like it would feel like, dog, they taking my kind, and the only way that they're going to accept it on the sidelines as a head coach in the face is if you give them a popsicle in addition to the opportunity. That does feel sad. I'm with Jim Trotter on that. Here's something. This was dope. Does this mean that nothing more can be done to change the minds of owners? I'm not in the business of changing hearts and minds. All I ask is that you hire the most qualified person. Round of applause. Period. And it's not that hard to see who's the most qualified are in certain situations. As I wrote, Brandon Staley, that's the coach of my Chargers, so this might hurt. Got a head coaching job 5 years after leaving a small college football program and only 1 year of coordinating experience. Interesting. Eric Bieniemy, been the offensive coordinator for a team that has gone to 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls, has an MVP quarterback and a Super Bowl MVP quarterback. So how is it that he can't get a job? Wow. Now, not going into the weeds of that one, on high level paper, topic, sentence, summary, yeah, he has a tremendous point. On the declining state of sports journalism, it's disappointing. There are a lot of talented people who are out of work through no fault of their own. I pray that they land on their feet and they're in better situations going forward. It's sad, but it's reflective of where the industry is going. Let's talk about that. Where the industry is going. Just went to a conference where all those VCs and all of those executives and tech gurus were saying, we're all going to a place where everyone is a creator and everything is a channel. Like kind of how YouTube is, but deluxe. to the point where all you guys are creators. Do you have Instagram? Do you have followers? Do you have followers that are not just close family and friends? You are now a creator. Even though you think, all right, and is it public? You're like sharing your world. Look at little Betsy finally hit the somersault in gymnastics. And somebody else likes it that you don't know. Welcome to the world. And you are part of this process where everything as we know it, traditionally, linear, is being fractured. So now, bigger and bigger and bigger names are going to be creators and creators. Now, ain't nobody going to be bigger than the Mr. Beast, but we all on pursuit to try and be that dude. All right, so, man, this is interesting. Do you think the NFL is going through all the measures necessary and has done enough to address the diversity, equality, and inclusion? Do you think Trotter's contract not getting renewed was unfair and Goodell's fault? Let me just say this about this whole situation in summation. That nothing's going to be perfect, but we all see some of the real huge obstacles and issues when it comes to what we were just talking about with college athletes not getting paid. And then a lot of times it leans into a racial conversation, sometimes necessarily. And then the same thing on the sidelines with the NFL. However, let's be careful because there is not equality on that football field either. So that's when I always push back. Like, y'all want equality where? On the field, it ain't that. Whether you want to say racially, it's not that. 50-some percent of the players are black, 70-some percent of color, minority, not equal. On the sidelines, a whole different animal, right? Well, how many head coaches are black now? 2? I don't know. Crazy, right? But it's not equal on the field, but that's okay. It's not equal on the sideline, that's not okay. Now, we got to make those conversations equal, right? Make them have the same energy. Coming up next on Never Shut Up, I don't know what this is going on. Is this the racial show? Rams racism, they call it. Lamar Jackson rant puts the heat on the ex-coach Mike Martz, who I used to play against. Oh, the greatest show on turf was insane. Well, this might be the greatest show after we talk about this topic. That's next on Never Shut Up, Brinks TV, Reach TV. Bang, bang. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus. Wiley. Friday swag away gonna be either this best-selling book, gonna be these playing cards, or it's gonna be this jersey straight out of Jersey. Blah! Time for some action. Where's that from? Y'all know what it is. Oh, got love for you guys. Also, you got to go into the community section to the comment. Exact day and time. We are going over 100K. Okay, I said Monday. And I meant next Monday, not today. 2:27 p.m. Let's see what your guess is. All right, let's not guess about this situation. Let's get real definitive about Mike Martz and his latest rant on Lamar Jackson. Some are calling it racism. But in this world today, everything seems like racism. Golly, my daddy, see, this is why I always be like, man, y'all mustn't talk to y'all parents or grandparents. I don't know. Mama and daddy was at home. Boy, my daddy used to pick cotton for a summer for $1. I was like, Daddy, $1? I was like, that was just to get away and not call it slavery. Because I was like, dog, you pick all that cotton for a whole summer, you got $1? He was like, yeah, I got $1. Oh. I was like, $1 a month, $1 a week, $1 a day. He was like, no, $1. I was like, Daddy, do you know? He's like, no, but it was only $1. I was like, God dang. Woo! I mean, real segregation. Like my daddy was like, no, you ain't going on that side of the street. But my dad was born in 1947, grew up in Texas. Yeah. All right, so let's talk about this and see where we're going with it. So Mike Martz, he had his recent analysis of Lamar Jackson, the great quarterback. But this is not the first time he went in on Lamar Jackson with some harsh criticism. This time, He extended beyond being a non-believer in Jackson with comments that some suggest had that racially tinged undertone. What is that? I don't know how good Jackson is at processing things. And that's the key. How quick can you process, read, and react? I don't know if he has that. Okay, let me stop right here. Because if that's all we're going to run with, let me just give you some reflection points. Not sure why that is racially charged, just that exclusively. Now, I know where people go with it because they go back to the past when that was said predominantly about the black quarterback. But we're in the present right now. And in the present, you can say that about Lamar Jackson if you want, but guess who they do say it about as well? Carson Wentz, Baker Mayfield. Good Lord. I know I've said it 5 times and heard it 10 times. Like, yo, the reason Carson Wentz take all them sacks and be getting hurt, he ain't processing it very well. Baker Mayfield, he ain't processing it very well. So I understand the birth of this was for the black quarterback in general. But specifically now, it's for any quarterback that can't process it. That's the way I see it. You guys tell me different or agree. All right, so this sort of evaluation of black quarterbacks, we know, suggests the lack of intelligence to play the position. That used to be the dog whistle back in the day, right? And that revealed the ignorance or even racism of a scout, coach, executive, as we talked about. March of 72, we know he won a Super Bowl with the 0-1 sick-witted Rams and been out the NFL for about a decade, coaching in other leagues. So it was talked about with Trey Lance as well, and he was going against Justin Fields, both first-round quarterbacks and both black, right? And March said to Lance, I never liked him. I still don't like him. I never seen anything about this kid that was encouraging at all. He looked like a fullback looking around to stumble trying to run the ball. He's not a quick decision guy. Okay, now about Fields, he said, I'm just shocked at the Bears. I don't know if I've ever seen such a bad performance from a starting quarterback in his opening performance of the season like that. He was just completely awful. Quarterback that can't do anything like that at all. All right, here's the thing. Woo! How much has Trey Lance showed y'all to fall in love with him yet? Anybody? Now, I don't know about this. See, this is what's happening. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Like, all right, Marks, you know the history of the quarterback position. You know the history of the black quarterback. You know what Lamar Jackson had to go through just to get drafted. Like, people were telling him to switch and play running back, which is another conversation. Let's go down that road, right? I remember playing with Matt Jones. Y'all remember who? Matt Jones. Y'all remember Matt Jones? 6'6", ended up playing receiver in the league for Jacksonville a few years, sucking around a 4.4, 4.3 at 6'6", 210, like sick. He was an athlete, but he was a quarterback in college. Guess what they told him when he was coming out the draft? Play receiver. Guess what he did? White quarterback, play receiver. So it's like, yeah. Julian Edelman, right? Same thing, etc. So it's like what we're getting lost in is what used to be and how it is. And Mike Martz sound like used to be guy, not caring about how it is and still sound like used to be. But does that make it racially tinged? Does that make this racism? All right. So we talked about all that, and it was funny because of his criticism of Fields and Lance, and we all know that it was a muddy game, that game he was talking about. And they barely played in that game. It was like, what are you talking about? So it could be all coincidental for Mike Martz. Or it could be intentional in terms of how he has a little more scathing criticism and scouting of the black quarterback. But damn it, sucker coach Kurt Warner, straight from the grocery store. You coach Kurt Warner from the grocery store, and he was tilting. 99, 2000, 2001, whatever, he was tilting. So, I mean, when you're coming from that vantage point, sometimes it comes down with a heavy hand. All right, so I don't like the casual word racism. I like it in respect situations when it is really deemed necessary. So y'all tell me, man, of this situation. You think March's Lamar Jackson comments are racist? You think March and Trey Lance and Justin Field comments are racist? But let me tell you what I'm thinking about it. In general, because I'm going through this right now, as I've always went through it in my life, but specifically with my foundation. I'm talking to adults, the youth, about not taking ownership of negativity especially when it's there to group you, right? And I think a lot of times groups do that, right? You'll take the general stereotype about you when you're like, dog, that ain't me or that ain't we, but that's what y'all are, right? Let me give you some examples. So for being black, you know, you hear a lot of times people almost make it synonymous. Oh, we got to help those poor kids. So then you got imagery that comes with that and you think black, even though there's more white poor kids than black, but you think black, right? Hood. It's crazy because in my hood, it was all black when I grew up. But guess what? Before I got there, who were there? All white. And guess what? When I go back now, who's there? All Mexicans. It's like crazy, right? So it's like, don't own this stuff. Underprivileged, underserved. You think one group. Nah, underprivileged is underprivileged. And let me take you, if you really want to go, if you have ventured, you realize it looks like Skittles. All types, all colors, all flavors. Of course, at times leaning towards one. So I just want people to be reminded of the brainwashing that happens, and not always so intentional with a red dot on your forehead. Just lazy, simple thinking. People just get simple, lazy, group, and stand back at a distance. That's where the fear is, closing that gap. That's where the anxiety is, and that's where the ignorance is as well. So I'm going to get my feet a little muddy as I travel through those roads to bridge the gap, to make sure everyone sees the full picture. Coming up next on Never Shut Up, oh, it's time to get into my favorite segment, Wildest World. Time to bring in Mikey P. We might have, oh God, yes we do. Wow, we got Kobra Khan up in the building. You know, yeah, he got that crown on his head. He's trying to shine the crown right now, top dog of all our Hall of Famers. Let's get into that next. Never Shut Up brings TV, reads TV. Welcome back to Never Shut Up. It's your boy Marcellus. Wiley, feeling good over here, a little toasty. It's 100 degrees outside, but I got the AC on, but that's why I'm wearing this hoodie. But at the same time, it is getting inferno up in here, so let's just get into it right now. Y'all know we got love for you, so we're going to have our Friday swag away. Who wants this? My braider for my daughter, you know, G-Thang Snoop hair. Her boyfriend, Brian, big fan of the show, man, so I laced them with some love. And shout out to you, Brian, for all the support, for real. You can get this as well. Y'all out there, y'all know how we do. And this jersey, so fresh right there. Got to hook y'all up, and you got to guess. Go to Community Post, guess exact day and time we go over 100K in just 5 months. Let's do that. 5 months? Damn, Wiley, you out here rolling. Picture me rolling. Okay, now we're going to get into some funk up, some comments. All right. Let's get into this right here. Is today the day that I think we're doing this? Let me see. Yep, we're doing these. All right, let's talk about ESPN choosing Stephen A. over Skip. I guess we did that on Friday. Here we go. Skip can't get viewers without Stephen A. or Shannon. First Take still doing good as far as viewership without Skip. And Shannon's podcast does millions of viewers each interview. If you look at Skip's podcast views, it ain't even a quarter of what Shannon's views are. Skip not making no impact on TV without another big personality across from him. Are you sure of that? Are you sure of that? What's your evidence? Oh, you gonna go back to cold pizza? What's your evidence? Well, they did 7 years together. What's your evidence? Before that, it was banging. It was banging when it was Stephen A. and Skip for 4 years. And then it was banging with Shannon for 7 years. That's 11 years. So we got to go back to what, 2012? Your evidence is 2012? Okay. I will say this. Skip podcast is not interesting to me. But that don't mean it ain't interesting to y'all out there. He got more subscribers than me, but he also been doing it a lot longer than me. We'll see, right? But it's not interesting to me. But is that the only thing we have as a case study for Skip not being able to attract viewers? Skip get a rotating guest list. Richard Sherman, Jalen Rose, Max Kellerman, Keyshawn Johnson, Michael Irvin, and Skip every day? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. We watching some of that, if not all of that. Come on. ESPN messed up. Separately, these guys are okay. When these two guys are together, it's a perfect match. I hear some of that. Richard Sherman to Undisputed. Richard Sherman would actually challenge Skip Bayless, unlike most of the other on Fox Sports. Yeah, that is the scary part. Not because Joy ain't feisty and fiery and could push back. Acho ain't going to fight back and try to out-articulate them and drop jewels. It's the fact that they also know that's like going at Tom Brady on the Patriots or the Bucks. Like, be careful in practice how you touch them, right? Like, this is going to be live on TV. I want to debate. Yay. And this is something that bled into Shannon. Like, they don't discipline Skip over there. Not yet. It ain't happening. So you go in on Skip. Skip don't like it for whatever reason. Oh, that fist, that gavel, that's your head right there. So you may win these arguments and these battles, but you're going to lose that war. That is an interesting point. I think it's smart for him to have a revolving door of guests. Yeah, particularly ex-athletes. Some who are on more regular than others. Hope to see Wiley on there. Nah, that ain't happening, man. We got two different, like, flavors, if you know what I'm saying. I think he's a good fit. He's articulate, can debate with the best of them. But can he talk hoops? You got to be a jack of all trades to do Undisputed. Can Richard Sherman talk hoops? I have not heard him ever talk hoops. But look, that's how they pigeonhole you. When I first got to Broadcast Network, talk football, third and goal. Only talk third and goal. I was like, man, first of all, I'm going to talk about the club. I'm going to talk about the players. I'm going to talk about the ladies. And I ain't going to talk about third and goal. That's why I was on Sports Nation that fast. ESPN smears Will Cain at ESPYs. I hate and can't stand Will Cain, but I absolutely agree with him on this issue. Why ask for equal pay if you are not bringing in the revenue to deserve it? I just don't understand that thinking, whether it's from a female perspective or a male perspective. I'm not a Will Cain fan, but what ESPN did was super foul. That's just what ESPN does. The days of them allowing anything to interfere with their virtue signaling have been gone for some time now. Two things. Y'all hate Will Cain? Like, I have not seen Will Cain do anything on air since I worked with him at ESPN. All right, full disclosure. But I love my time working with him. He was smart, sucker there, could weave, lawyer. Like, it was like, dog, them arguments were different. Like, you debate Will Cain, one, he going all in. Two, he going hell along with it. I was like, damn, this is impressive. And I liked him as a person, right? But is it just Fox News? Or y'all got to put it like this. Put something in the comments that I could see that I could be like, why are people hating on Will Cain? Because I was like, damn, I like Will Cain. But I haven't watched him and checked him in a long time. All right, y'all know what we about to do now. I'm about to Vanna White it and bring in a Hall of Famer. Oh, yeah. It's time to bring in a Kobra. I hope that Kobra snake don't bite. There he is. Kobra Khan's up in the building. What it do, Kobra? You muted, man. You ghetto.
Hey, it's Monday, Marcellus. It's Monday, but you know it's not any Monday. It's Make That Money Monday. So here it is. Okay. I have two. I got two Jeopardy style questions for you: a $300 and a $500. You know, the $500 is gonna be more challenging. So it's gonna be Jeopardy style. Answer. Give me the question. Example. The person that consistently beats you in pickleball, and you'll respond with, who is the Kobra? And then you'll talk about, like, you know, how I'm gracefully out there like Carlton dancing and all that. Right? So you play Jeopardy before.
I get it. Hey, hold on. Can I donate the $300 and $500 to your Wi-Fi right now? Because it seems like you need it. Like, your prepaid going out, man. It ain't the best, but we're going to get through it, man.
That's the twist at the end. You actually pay me. That's the ending. So, no.
Love it. All right, let's get into it. All right, let's do. I'll drop my earpod.
All right. You ready?
What?
All right, go. Here's the
can't
answer.
hear you.
The
There we
NFL.
go. All right, there you go. I'm back.
Hello?
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm here.
The NFL player from any era that you would take to lead your franchise.
Damn. It's not even my favorite players or the best players. The best players to me are like Bruce Smith, Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders. But to lead my franchise, I gotta take a quarterback. I ain't stupid. I would take Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning would be my first pick overall. In NFL history, the number 1 overall pick would be Peyton Manning. That sucker a leader, and that sucker could slang it. We're going to win a whole lot of.
Oh, man. I guess I'm the idiot. I would pick Deion just because I know it's a full team sport, you know what I mean? And one player can make an impact, but, man, I would love to have Deion on my squad, man, going both ways. But, I respect your answer.
Yeah, totally. Look, a shutdown corner that could do other things and be versatile like that. Great leadership, of course. At the same time, the only thing will be like, man, I can see where Deion makes some players think they could get away with more than they can. Like because Peyton Manning is so tightly wound, you got to get in line. With Deion, you be like, oh, he ain't even tripping. But that's how he is. And that's how he gets going. That's how he gets rolling. Don't try and do that yourself. If you try that, you're going to be too loose and they're going to be prepared. So I'll take Peyton Manning.
All right. So the $500 question. The top reason why the WNBA revenue is only $60 million compared to the NBA's $10 billion.
The biggest reason you ask? Because it's just a bad product, bruh. I feel weird that I'm compelled so many times to answer and fix their problem. Like when I watch the dog challenges. What is that? The dog shows they be having on. That I'm like, I just look like 3 seconds, 2, 1, click. I ain't got no time for that. Watching the dog hop over a little barrier and go wah, 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 and weave through that. I'm like, that ain't fresh to me. And you know what? The WNBA basketball product, I've been to 2 games. I've never seen so many air balls. I saw twice the ball under the basket over the backboard. I'm like, I can do that, and I suck at basketball. I don't even like how the ball look. I don't like that nobody out there ain't banging on nobody. And then you watch college, and you're like a little more interested. Like it's just a whole different animal. They play different defense, so offensively it's a different structure. But I just think it's just a bad product. And then also, like they're not marketing it correctly. Remember when, and this is to my point, Skylar Diggins, is that her name? Skylar Diggins. When she left college, I remember I went to the ESPY. She sat right behind me. I didn't know who she was and all that. She's like Gatorade Player of the Year and just big time. And then they put the camera on her. And everybody in the crowd was like, whoa, she's beautiful. Whoa, she's a baller. Like, I mean, from star after star, just looking like, damn, that's going to be amazing. She's that good and that beautiful and that charismatic. It's a wrap. Who Skylar Diggins play for right now? Anybody? It's just crazy, man. They like, it's the black hole, dog. It's just people go in there and disappear. It's weird to me.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, man. But hey, appreciate your time again. Thanks for having me on. Hey, have a good one, man.
All right, you better head to the T-Mobile store or something right now. God dang, that broke out Wi-Fi. My dog, appreciate you, Kobra. All right, Mikey P coming in here. Let's hope his check cleared and then his Wi-Fi works. Let's see it. Come on, Mikey P.
Yes, sir. I think I'm in the clear.
You're in the clear, baby. What it do?
All right, well, we got to talk about this. DeAndre Hopkins signed with the Tennessee Titans. Are you kidding me? All right, 2 years, $26 million. It can go up to $32 million with incentives. Social media was not thrilled with him, though, all right, especially them Patriot fans who were feeling a little spurned that he didn't pick them. So he sent out a tweet, which he has since deleted, saying to sports experts and analysts, like, you should be mad at your management. Not me, okay? Be mad at your team, all right? But anyway, what do you think of D-Hop's move, and was this a good choice for him? And then I have a follow-up after that about the Titans.
I like the move. One, we don't know what he was offered, so I wouldn't even respond to people who were pushing back at me. I'm like, you don't know what they offered me. And you don't, look, he may like the quarterback situation better. You don't know what he's measuring. I do know that playing for Mike Vrabel, my dog, my homie, we came out the same year, is an interesting challenge and a better proposition probably right now than playing for Bill Belichick. That coaching staff is all over the place. They go out there without even having a coordinator sometimes. Who calling the plays? I don't know. Somebody will. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I love me some Belichick. That's the GOAT of all coaches. That said, Matt Jones and weirdo coaching staffs moves and I don't know what they offered. So I like it there. Tennessee has been in the thick of things. Maybe this is a difference maker. But they did this with Julio Jones, several other big receivers, Andre Johnson right at the end. Like, it's kind of how they go. It's like it's your last layover before final destination, which is retirement. Like, so hopefully it works out better for D-Hop because he's still got more toothpaste in that tube.
Yeah, see, part of me was hoping, man, if we could just see D-Hop with a good quarterback again. I mean, man, I would have loved to see him with Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and that's what everyone was clamoring for. But instead, we got to settle for Ryan Tannehill, who I don't know how much he's got left at this point. He was a little hurt last year. But this leads me to the Titans, okay? What are they doing? Because I don't think anyone knows. It seemed like prior to the season, into the draft and everything, it seemed like they were heading into a rebuild. They were even considering offloading Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill for that matter, but he's got an albatross of a contract. So now they go out and sign D-Hop. So what are they doing? And then also, if you were willing to pay that money, right? If you're willing to pay that money to a receiver, why didn't you sign A.J. Brown long-term? And thank you, by the way. I'm an Eagles fan, so thank you so much, Titans. But why?
Well,
2 parts.
One, you got to be, you got to speculate, and you got to always understand that there's more to it than you know. You don't know how A.J. Brown was in Tennessee, and people were like, "No, he's amazing in Philly." I was like, "You didn't answer the question. How was he in Tennessee?" Because it could have been a wake-up call to get traded out of there, and now all of a sudden he's tight. You know what I mean? That's happened. Also, what he was asking for. And then what he was asking for is too much for Tennessee. But it's fine for D-Hop. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't make proper analogies. Most things that people actually make analogies are not analogous, right? They actually think they answer the question because they say, look at him now. I was like, but that ain't him then. You know what I mean? So I think that D-Hop basically said, look, the teams that want me got Matt Jones at quarterback and Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. Which one would I want to ride with? I would ride with Ryan Tannehill as well. I would ride with Tennessee more than I would New England. And then if they're going to offer comparable or more, so then everybody's like, oh, why didn't you pick New England? Man, Tom Brady ain't there, fool. Like, what you talking about? You talking about New England. You talking about old England. I'm talking about New England. And so I just think that we got to keep it level in that. What are they doing? They're doing what 31 other teams are doing. Gonna lose this year. One winner. Rest of y'all look good, tried, it got close. Oh my God, almost. Like, that's the game. 31 losers in different levels and one winner. So that's what they're doing. What everybody else is doing, the other 30.
So, I mean, do you think that they bridge the gap with the Jags, let's say? Like, do you think they'll be competitive in the division, a possible playoff team again? Because they kind of sort of fell off a little bit last year. But 2 years ago, they were number 1 seed, correct me if I'm wrong. So, I mean, and they just re-signed Jeffrey Simmons, who's a beast. All right? Defensive tackle. Yeah,
you're boring me right now because this is too much NFL, like X's and O's. Like even at NFL Live right now,
oh man,
I'll be sitting there with Trey Wingo. I'll be like, boring. All right, let's talk about something for real. Like, because there's no real answer. So it's fun to have this conjecture. The TV answer is yes, they closed the gap. The real answer is you know what it is. I don't know, but here we go. If Derrick Henry still got some juice, because he is getting a lot of carries, and everybody knows the game plan, they going to be something. It's going to go where Derrick Henry takes them, because then that opens it up for Tannehill. Then that opens it up for Hopkins. Then that opens it up for the defense. So I hate to put all this weight on King Henry, but King Henry is for you. Simple as that. Other than that, close the gap. How about this? This is another thing. Man, maybe this is interesting because I don't like the angles of did they all that. I like this. We don't have to get better. Maybe they getting worse. You know what I mean? Like if you look at Kansas City, you're like, maybe they worse. So people don't even think like this in sports, but it's true. Do I got to get faster or does he need to get slower? Sometimes both happen and I close the gap. Sometimes I stay still, he comes to me. Sometimes he stays still and I pass him. So it's going to be a myriad of ways this can go. But I know one way it could go, and it could go immediately if Derrick Henry is still King Henry.
I'm with you on that, and I like your answer, okay? But I got to speak on behalf of the people, so I'm just doing my thing over here. But
yeah, right.
That's all I got for you, that dude.
My dog, I appreciate it, Mikey P. Went to NFL Live on me right there. Nah, that's love. I get it, and I'm with it. And we all surprised, and I think that's why we love sports as well. It's because before the game, players and fans. Thank you, Mikey P. Look at the technical directors here. We got vacation technical directors. Mikey P got to go now. Yeah. You got to slide out. Slide them out.
Oh.
Get Mikey P out. There you go. All right. It's funny that when you look at the game, players and fans before the game could get involved in rah-rah. That's the fun, right? Every fan, my team gonna beat yours. Oh, no, they're not. I be at the stadium at 9 o'clock when the gates open, tailgating, me and you, $100 on it. Let's go. And we do all that. Then the game, then they kick that ball off. And immediately you lost your money, right? Suckers there. Hey, whooping y'all ass. Same thing happened with players. Y'all ever seen players warm up? Just go to the stadium early and watch them warm up. They all look like they're all pros, right? All pros. Headphones on, got the beats on, doing these crazy drills. You're like, damn, he look good. Guess who he is? He ain't playing that day, right? Everybody look like an all pro. And then that ball get kicked off. And then you realize everybody ain't all pro, right? That's what I love about it. So to me, that's more fascinating. And I'm too patient to let that process play out, but I get it. It's fun. It's food for thought. So let's go have some fun with it. All right, y'all. Y'all know how we end every show. We end it with a Wileyism. There's no there. Woo! I got a dab off on that one. Oh, I know y'all don't see this, but it's 108 outside and it's 68 in here, and I'm still hot. There's no there. You know who broke this one down to me? Y'all know him, O'Shea Jackson Jr. He doesn't even know he broke it down to me because that's what I do. When I get Wileyisms, whether I create them, which is most of them, or I borrow them and take them from them, I give you your credit. We did an interview 5-10 years ago. And he was like, man, being Ice Cube's son, NWA movie, etc. And talking about his journey. And he's like, man, there's no there. And he's right. Like for you, whatever it is, money, family, opportunity, whatever it is, as soon as you get it, you got to hit reset and redefine it and redefine your goals. There's no there. No matter what it is. Like, oh man, I just want to make it to the NFL. And as soon as you get drafted, immediately you get hit with, all right, here's training camp, here's your first year, here's your games. And you're like, wait a minute, I just wanted to get to the NFL and now, okay, yay, good for you. We so happy, boo-boo. What you gonna do now? And it's like, oh, because there's no there. Once you get to that, you gotta do this. So the key is getting that appreciation through that whole process instead of the destination that you arrive somewhere. Because trust me, if you really gonna do this right, no matter where you go, what you get, there's no there. So I thought that was amazing. Shout out to my boy O'Shea. Laker fan to the fullest, Clipper fan over here. We bang all the time, but that's my dog. So remember, no matter what your pursuit is, no matter what your goals are, there's no there. That'll do it for today's episode of Never Shut Up. Got love for you guys. Y'all know y'all want these jerseys. Y'all want these cards. Y'all want this book. I love this book. I'm on page 1 right now. I'm rereading the book for the 98th time, man. Love for you guys out there. Enjoy your Monday. Get me out of here, boy. Yes.